Wendi McLendon-Covey was back on set of ABC's The Goldbergs on Wednesday after Jeff Garlin exited the series following an HR investigation into inappropriate conduct claims. The 52-year-old actress, who plays Garlin's on-screen wife Beverly Goldberg, was spotted walking around the studio lot in full costume. She was suited up in a psychedelic bomber jacket, black pants, and her character's signature feathered blonde wig. Garlin was reported to have immediately departed the production in December after coming to a mutual agreement with Sony Picture Television after the HR investigation into the claims of inappropriate verbal and physical conduct on set of The Goldbergs. Deadline sources stated at the time that Jeff was replaced by his regular stand-in to wrap up his character's story on ABC's The Goldbergs. The body double stood in for Garlin's body, while the 59-year-old comedian's face will later be digitally superimposed. Sources previously told the publication that Garlin only had 1 day left of filming for the 9th season, which began airing episodes in September. They also claimed that using CGI to replace his face over the stand-in was not a new practice and had been done multiple times in the past. The scenes filmed with the stand-in are set to wrap up Garlin's run on the series. In his lengthy interview with Vanity Fair, Garlin defended himself following an alleged altercation with 2 stand-ins, but it's unclear if the person who replaced him in the episode was one of those people. It hasn't yet been revealed whether The Goldbergs will be renewed for a 10th season, but the series is reportedly getting an extra 4-episode order for the 9th season, bringing it to a total of 22 episodes. The Curb Your Enthusiasm actor reportedly cancelled his COVID-19 test on Monday. Sources on set revealed that executives visited on Wednesday night to the elephant in the room of Garlin's departure, while also congratulating everyone on filming the series' 200th episode. "It feels a little surreal that he will never be here again, but the mood on the set is ecstatic," said a person who witnessed the visit. In fact, several people cheered when the execs said that Jeff would not be returning. The stand-up comedian admitted in a lengthy interview with Vanity Fair last month that he had been investigated multiple times by HR over complaints of inappropriate touching and offensive language, though he claimed at the time that he had not been fired. According to The Hollywood Reporter, a producer on The Goldbergs informed the cast and crew on set Wednesday that Garlin wouldn't be returning after reaching an agreement with the studio. Sources claimed that he wasn't expected to stick with the series if it was renewed, and it's currently unclear how the show will address his absence. He stars as the patriarch Murray Christian Goldberg, who is married to Beverly Goldberg, played by Wendi McLendon-Covey. The autobiographical comedy series is inspired by creator Adam F. Goldberg's childhood in the 1980s. Following Garlin's interview with Vanity Fair, in which he defended himself against complaints from on set, his co-workers spoke with Deadline anonymously. They described conditions on set as being relatively professional and cordial, though the atmosphere allegedly turned sour when he was on set to film. "He is extremely verbally and emotionally abusive," one employee claimed. One source alleged that a camera assistant complained to her department head about Garlin's use on set of the word vagina, which he admitted to using in his interview. After he learned of the complaint, Garlin reportedly put his hands around the camera assistant's face and repeatedly said the word to her. He also allegedly made a variety of off-color sex jokes that offended some crew members. The comedian reportedly had a tendency to refer to some female crew members by nicknames, some of which they found offensive. Elsewhere in his Vanity Fair interview, Garlin defended himself after he was accused of having a physical and verbal incident with a stand-in. A person who claimed to have witnessed the incident said that he screamed at a female stand-in, "Why are you always in my way? Get the F out of my way," as she walked in front of him down a ramp. He is extremely verbally and emotionally abusive, one employee claimed. One source alleged that a camera assistant complained to her department head about Garlin's use on set of the word vagina, which he admitted to using in his interview. After he learned of the complaint, Garlin reportedly put his hands around the camera assistant's face and repeatedly said the word to her. He also allegedly made a variety of off-color sex jokes that offended some crew members. The comedian reportedly had a tendency to refer to some female crew members by nicknames, some of which they found offensive. Elsewhere in his Vanity Fair interview, Garlin defended himself after he was accused of having a physical and verbal incident with a stand-in. A person who claimed to have witnessed the incident said that he screamed at a female stand-in, "Why are you always in my way? Get the F out of my way," as she walked in front of him down a ramp. He allegedly then told her husband, also a stand-in, to tell your wife to get the F out of my way. Sources describe this incident as the straw that broke the camel's back, and it allegedly led to new HR complaints. Not just would he intimidate that woman, he would then turn around and belittle and embarrass her husband, the eyewitness said. This is just the grossest abuse of power. Sources contended that during the few times when Garlin was on set after the incident, his offensive behaviors continued and he even mocked the HR investigations. Jeff Garlin is speaking out and denying claims that he behaved inappropriately on the set of his ABC comedy series The Goldbergs. The 59-year-old stand-up comedian, who has been part of the main cast since the series premiered in 2019, claimed that he was still part of the series in a lengthy interview with Vanity Fair published Friday. The actor also downplayed allegations that he told inappropriate language on set and defended himself as a person who hugs after sources reportedly complained about being touched by him. Garlin, who plays the father on the family sitcom, was said to have engaged in a pattern of verbal and physical conduct on set that made people uncomfortable from 3 people who formerly worked on the show. One of the sources noted that they weren't personally made uncomfortable by his behavior, though other people thought it was demeaning or unprofessional. The insiders claimed that some people on set were made uncomfortable by the actor touching or hugging them, though it's unclear if any of the offended parties told him that they were uncomfortable. He got away with it because he would call himself out for it, saying he was a big teddy bear, saying things like, "Oh, you know me, just a big bowl of mush, I'm a hugger. I just love you," one source claimed. In his interview, Garlin made it clear that he was still working on the series. "No, I was not fired from the Goldbergs. I have not been fired from the Goldbergs," he said. In a statement sent to People, a spokesperson for Sony Pictures Television wrote, "The well-being of our cast and crew is of utmost importance to us. This is an employment matter and it is being addressed by HR and production." After he was asked about an incident with a stand-in that was described as both physical and verbal, Garlin denied that there was any physical component to the altercation. And the verbal part was a joke that was completely missed, he continued, adding that he personally liked the man and his wife, who were unnamed. "If someone misses a joke, that's unfortunate to me. "I don't like it," he said, though he refused to disclose what the joke was, only calling it silly and saying it was misconstrued. The comedian, who is currently on a stand-up tour to aid comedy clubs harmed by the coronavirus pandemic, denied that he had ever sent a text to a Goldbergs colleague saying that they should go to the next table read wearing only panties. "I didn't write those words. And I'd like to see the text and who I sent it to," he replied. "But everything that I write like that is about joking. I am respectful of women and women's bodies. And I don't make jokes about that, because I don't find it funny." Garlin claimed there was no story behind the allegations, and suggested it was all a misunderstanding over his attempts to bolster his humor. "My opinion is, I have my process about how I'm funny, in terms of the scene and what I have to do. Sony feels that it makes for a quote unsafe workspace," he said. "I am always a kind and thoughtful person. I make mistakes, sure, but my comedy is about easing people's pain," he continued. "Why would I ever want to cause pain in anybody for a laugh? That's bullying. That's just uncalled for." Garlin continued, saying that HR has come to me 3 years in a row for my behavior on set. He didn't say what set off the investigations but claimed they were over silly matters. "If I said something silly and offensive, and I'm working at an insurance company, I think it's a different situation," the comic argued. "If I, as the star of the show, demanded a gun range and on set, and I was firing guns every day and I was a little bit loose, to me, that's an unsafe work atmosphere," he continued. "If I threatened people, that's an unsafe work atmosphere. None of that goes on ever with me. That's not who I am," he said, adding that there was no big story unless it was framed around political correctness. Garlin then denied any kind of physical misconduct and said that anyone complaining about his verbal conduct on set has it out for him. As for the question of unwanted hugs, the Curb Your Enthusiasm star said people on set who never want to be hugged by him tell him that. "I am a person who hugs for sure. And it's quick hugs, but I didn't realize that anyone was feeling, so if you want to write that story, that's a true story," he said. "It puts the onus on them to say something, and I would gladly respect anyone who said, 'Please don't hug me.' I don't feel comfortable." However, he said that HR has never said a word to me about hugs. Garlin did agree that hugging that made someone uncomfortable would be wrong. In response to a question about Garlin allegedly saying things on set that make people feel uncomfortable and demeaned, he claimed it was just his silliness on set and said he thought it was acceptable behavior in the workplace, while again saying he wished the offended parties had told him or one of the producers about their concerns before bringing the matter up with HR. Although he again reiterated that he had not been fired, he indicated that negotiations were ongoing about his future with the series. "We're trying to come to a place where we come to an agreement," he said. "Either I can behave the way they want, or not. We'll see, but I'm not being fired and I've not been fired." He also said he would not be doing any of my silly stuff or anything, out of respect, when he returned to work. Garlin wound down the interview by claiming he almost hadn't returned for the 9th season because he was bored by filming on it, and he suggested the series might not even be renewed for a 10th season.